Hi and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I will be discussing facial essence archetypes. I'll explain what they are and which essences each P1 Harmony member have. I've done 4 other groups so far, and here's a list of other groups I plan to do in the future. Belle Northrop proposed the general concept of essences in 1936. She stated that all aspects of personality and every detail of appearance woven into an integrated whole must be taken into account. She explains that some of these traits are felt rather than easily explained, also mentioning that there's a balance, comparing it to yin and yang. Harriet McJimsey was the first to apply archetypes to these essences, giving them physical traits: dramatic, athletic, classic, romantic, gamine, and ingenue. This eventually evolved into Kitchener's style essences, where she added in a 7th essence, ethereal. Style essences are heavily used within makeup and fashion today. These essence archetypes are actually what influenced Kibbe's archetype system that is famously used today to describe body types. David Kibbe developed a system that includes 5 of the essences, removing ingenue and ethereal, and leaving dramatic, natural, classic, gamine, and romantic. It focuses on the body and how much yin or yang, roundness or sharpness each body has. He also shows how each body should dress differently according to their shape, rather than forcing themselves to try to fit the body shape that is trending. The Kibbe body system is about embracing your body, dressing in certain shapes to look better in your own skin. The difference between the Kibbe body type system and the 7 style essences is that Kibbe is more about who you are. The 7 essences are about how you are perceived, but style essences are also a reflection of yourself, while facial essence archetypes are more so solely on how people perceive you. Facial essence archetypes are how the shapes and lines of your facial features display the nature or qualities of your aura or a certain vibe you give off from the perspective of a stranger. This has nothing to do with your personality or character, but more so to do with the first impression your face gives off without saying a word. People with dramatic essence give off a very bold aura and are usually strikingly gorgeous. They can fall into the generic but also abnormal beauty category. They have sharp and mature features with an angular jawline, prominent high cheekbones, or a prominent nose. They usually have very narrow features within the brow, eye, and nose area, along with sharp, angular, striking, tall or long lines. Faces with natural essence are usually very chiseled. The features and lines can be sharp, but more so tend to be broad. They have a very athletic, model-esque strong features, like a square jaw, strong brow, tall, angular, long lines. You will usually see models with this type of face, especially in men. Classic essence always gives off the vibe of looking young but old at the same time. They look very youthful while giving off a mature vibe. Their faces are a blend of yin and yang, giving off an appearance of looking flawless. Usually all their features are even and neither one stands out more than the other. They fit very sophisticated looks. I also feel like due to their timeless look, they fit very many eras with ease, whether it's the clothing, hairstyles, or makeup styles. They look the best in natural hairstyles and makeup, but sometimes bold makeup as well. While doing this, I found that a lot of K-pop visuals that are closer to fitting the Korean beauty standards have classic essence, and it's usually their most prominent essence as well, which makes sense of why a lot of K-pop visuals do not really explore too much whenever it comes to their hair colors, their styling, or their makeup choices. They usually have a more natural look and a more typical styling, and if they do explore, it still isn't as experimental as their other members in the group. Faces with gamine essence are usually small with an angular tilted jaw. They look youthful while also giving this cheeky, I know who I am and I don't care what you think kind of vibe. They usually look great in dark bold styles while also being able to pull off bright vibes as well. Their features are delicate, slightly angular, petite with small angles, and they look very youthful. Faces with romantic essence usually have large eyes, large noses, or large lips, and sometimes are even fuller in their cheeks. They give off an almost unapproachable but incredibly beautiful vibe. With one look, these people are hard to keep eye contact with. They give such a strong vibe just by standing and staring. There are also faces with romantic essence that give off a softer allure and vibe. Romantic features are usually rounded, large and lush, and seductive. Faces with ingenue essence usually immediately come off as the nicest people. They have wide chubby faces naturally. Their eyes are usually big and round and look pure and sweet. People with this essence usually find it hard to fit certain styles and colors. Their features are usually soft and childlike. This last essence is personally my favorite of them all. Faces with ethereal essence usually look incredibly beautiful, like they are mythical or just not of this world. Their beauty is unexplainable and odd. They usually have large or small eyes that sometimes either sit wide or close on the face. They tend to have an oval or narrow face shape with soft and long features that seem unrealistic. Most people have a combined essences of 2 or 3. It's quite rare for there to only be one so far from what I've seen. I've noticed with K-pop idols, there's always certain essences that a majority have the most. But as we get further into the series, I will eventually make a video discussing which essences are most popular among idols who are picked as visuals, picked for certain companies, and so on. And just a quick disclaimer, this video is not for hate. I am in no way saying that these essences are a reflection of how these idols are in real life. Jongseob has 3 essences, the first being natural. He has a long face with a blunt, square jaw and strong brow. Next, he has ethereal essence. This is seen within his eyes as they sit close together and have a very unique look to them. Lastly, he has ingenue essence. His features are soft, cute, and rounded, which is seen within his eyes, nose, lips, and cheeks, which gives him an innocent, soft allure. Jongseob's most prominent essence is ingenue, with natural following close behind and ethereal much lower. He looks the best with longer hair. This helps put emphasis on his face shape. This haircut in particular that has longer bangs and a longer tail but a tad bit shorter around the ears complements his face and is best at bringing attention to his eyes, making them appear rounder and bigger. But it also helps round out the top half of his head since the lower part of his face is much more square and blunt. When it comes to shorter hair, due to his natural and ingenue essence, looks that are a bit on the messier side instead of being more structured look the best on him. This is due to his ingenue essence being strong and prominent as well as his natural. Natural hair colors tend to fit him the best, specifically bright or dirty blondes, browns but more so light browns, which I think is mostly due to the fact that his ingenue essence is very prominent, but even though his ethereal essence isn't as prominent, it is still visible, so it still plays a pretty big part in his styling. In my opinion, one of his best looks is not only the platinum blonde, which helps bring emphasis to his ingenue and ethereal, but also this very 2000s style of brown hair with blonde highlights, or the double hair dye look that he had. 2000s hairstyles and hair colors are something that usually tend to look great on faces with natural or gamine essence, and in this case he has natural. Also, experimenting with fun hairstyles and haircuts like these and many others that he has done are a good way to complement particularly his ethereal and ingenue essence. They help bring some youthful and playful vibe to the mature aspects of his face. Due to his range of generic and rare essences, even though he does have some hair colors that fit him the best, he still doesn't have an issue with pulling off so many different hair colors that are either dark, vibrant, or bright. Purples, reds, blacks tend to suit him. I would still say that pastel colors do tend to fit him a lot more than vibrant ones, even though he is still able to pull off vibrant hair colors as well. But this is also mostly due to the fact that even though his facial structure is quite blunt, his facial features are still on the softer and youthful side. When it comes to makeup, once again due to his range and essences, there are so many unique ways to do his makeup that would complement him, especially whenever it comes to being more experimental, having fun with lip tints, blushes, facial jewels, fun eyeshadow, or even eyeliner looks. I think that natural makeup also is a good fit for him, but having a more experimental take on his makeup brings out his essences the most. Even something as small as this face, and giving his eyebrows a completely different color than his hair is something that really helps his features and essences pop. Jongseob looks the best in structured outfits with a lot of creativity as well. Even though more simpler outfits do look great on him, bringing in more creativity within fabrics, colors, and styles usually complement him a lot more. Even if it's a little bit of creativity that could still be deemed as a bit simple, it's still something that would suit him. When it comes to his stage outfits, as I said earlier, a mix of different styles and fabrics that could somewhat look too much on someone else would actually fit him. Fun hats, belts, uses of either bright or dark colors, creative jeans, baggy jeans, pants, long shorts, oversized shirts, muscle shirts, skinny jeans, leather pants, matching sets, athletic wear, crop tops, and just an entire huge range of even more. As long as there's elements of creativity, again, whether that's in style, color, patterns, fabric, material, adding in creative elements to more simpler outfits complement him. Outfits that have jogging suits, baggy jeans, sports jackets, anything like that fits into his natural essence. His natural essence calls for structure while also still leaning on the side of being laid back and comfortable. With his ethereal and ingenue, a use of youthful flair as well as abstract creativity in his outfits complements those essences, which is why I haven't really found too many outfits that he doesn't fit. They've done a really great job at styling him, honestly. I think that anything that is overly simplified are the type of outfits that do not fit him, and whenever it comes to his outfits that are more casual and more laid back compared to his stage outfits, as long as there's some element of creativity, they will most likely complement him. The same goes for any of his award show outfits. While structured suits fit him perfectly, again adding in a bit of creativity, whether it's a crop jacket with interesting details, baggy dress pants, anything that is more of a unique take on the regular black and white suit would complement him perfectly. Seoul has two essences, the first being ingenue. His features are very cute, small, and rounded, which can be seen within his nose, eyes, and lips and cheeks. This gives him an overall very cute, innocent appearance. His last essence is ethereal. His facial structure is long and narrow. His eyes are large and sit very close on the face, giving him an overall unique, fairy-like look. Seoul has a balance of both essences, and even though they are both quite prominent, he still overall has a very soft look to him. Due to Seoul having two rare essences, he's able to be extremely experimental with his looks. People who usually have ethereal essence are able to be a bit more free with how they are styled, and adding in another essence like ingenue that calls for a more youthful, fun, colorful take on styling, it leads you to be able to really explore within fabric, styles, shapes, and colors. And it seems like the stylists tend to have a lot of fun with styling him. Whenever it comes to his hair, he has so many fun, experimental styles, and I absolutely love it because they fit him every time. He's able to pull off very bright hair colors, whether they are pastel or vibrant. He's also able to pull off unique hair dye patterns, like having several different hair colors and one style. But at the same time, he's also able to pull off more natural colors like browns, blacks, and blondes. No matter what hairstyle he does, they tend to keep his bangs long. And I do think that this is a very good idea because keeping his bangs long really helps emphasize his face shape. He looks great with both bangs or no bangs, and again, he looks amazing with long hair. I honestly think that they could even let his hair grow out much longer because I think that would suit him as well. Going back to experimental hairstyles, they tend to give him a lot of different types of updos, whether it's fun pigtails, space buns, half up, half down, braids, wolf cuts, and so on. And not surprising, they all complement him. I honestly think that they realized very early on what works with him, and since that day, they've just had experimental looks all the way for him. Whenever it comes to his makeup, they somewhat, for the most part, play it safe. They tend to keep him natural, or they give him a light blush under his eyes, or sometimes, fun little tattoo-like drawings on his face or under his eyes. And they also have fun with face jewels as well. But a lot of times they do decide just to keep his makeup natural. I think the reason for this this is because the stylists are probably a bit afraid of going a little bit too overboard, but at the same time, I think that his stylist is very smart because even though his essences allow him to do a lot within his styling, clothing, hair, makeup wise, I think that whenever it comes to his features, like his eyes, his nose, his lips, you do have to be a bit cautious because his overall facial structure and features in general are still very soft. So deciding to keep him with more natural or lighter makeup is actually very smart. Even though I still do think that there's a lot of makeup looks that would be perfect for him, putting harsh colors on his face or very bold styles could end up not complementing his facial features as much. Like I've said for styling clothes, just because you have a certain essence doesn't mean that you can still do the same thing as everybody else with those specific essences, because at the same time, you might have a different body type and you still have to think about those aspects as well. So I just really have to give a huge round of applause for the stylists because they are genuinely very much paying attention to those small details. With Seoul's unique essences, his styling calls for a lot more out-of-the-box, extravagant, and extremely creative details. On top of that, he looks the best in brighter clothing with a range of colorful patterns, a very unique and wide variety of textures, styles, fabrics, and so on, which include crop tops, the use of mesh, creative dynamics within the structure of the clothes. Honestly, anything that looks very youthful, playful, and out of the ordinary. When it comes to more simpler outfits, similar to what I said about Jongseob, adding in elements like small creative details or focusing in on size dynamics, like a tighter shirt and wide, baggier pants, as just a small example, can help make those types of outfits fit Seoul perfectly. Even doing something as small as adding in bright colors to a more simpler outfit can make him stand out. I also mentioned earlier that he looks the best in more colorful type of outfits, and for the most part, yes, brighter colors do tend to fit him a lot more in outfits, but darker colors do tend to suit him as well when mixed in with other colors and patterns, but extremely dark outfits just on their own, majority of the time will not be as flattering. Intak has 3 essences, the first being natural. His face has long lines with a blunt but angular square jaw, strong brow, and model-esque features, which all in all gives him a very athletic appearance. His next essence is Gamin. His face is slightly angular with small angles. He looks very youthful but leans more on the side of cheeky. Lastly, he has dramatic essence. His face has long lines with sharp and narrow features, giving him a slightly striking look. Despite having very bold essences, Intak overall has a soft look to him. He is also balanced in all of his essences, so he joins the list of idols with a soft balance of essences, Ningning, Sungchen, and fellow P1 member Seoul. Intak has more of that typical beauty that we see within K-pop visuals, so aka he's conventionally attractive. This is part of the reason why I think with him particularly they still tend to play it somewhat safer when styling him, but I do still think that he gets to experiment a little bit more than idols and other groups who typically look like him would get to. This could also be mostly because of P1HARMONY's concept itself. It calls for these type of stylings to be a little bit more dramatic, experimental, and fun. And with that said, I still do think that they tend to play it a bit more safer with him. He's definitely one of the members that when it comes to styling in general, they try their best not to go too far out of the box, but still give him enough to not look drastically different from the other members, what particularly fits him. When it comes to his hairstyles, because his essences are more so generic, he does fit the more natural hair colors, which is why they typically tend to stay in this range with him, so black, browns, and blondes, and maybe even a ginger. And all of those natural colors do suit him very well. I personally think that black suits him the best due to his prominence in all 3 of his essences, being more on the dramatic and bolder, sharper side. I do think though that they can experiment a little bit more with his hair colors, especially whenever it comes to maybe vibrant colors like reds, or maybe even electric blues. I think that darker, more vibrant hair colors rather than lighter pastels would suit him a lot more and emphasize his features features. He looks the best with shorter hair, and thanks to his Gamine essence, while structured hairstyles definitely complement him, I think more experimental, more shorter, choppy hairstyles that are a bit more dramatic and edgier tend to fit his face shape and complement his features. This hairstyle in particular, that is from the sad song era, is a bit more on the edgier and experimental side. The hairstyle is very similar to the one that they gave him for the Killin' It era, but they added in more fun details like blonde highlights and cut a very interesting design on the side of his head. This is a look that isn't too extreme for him, but still, again, more on the experimental side of what fits him. Makeup wise, even though it's not as crazy as some of the other members' looks, they still have fun experimenting a bit. They have fun with blush, and they have given him that fun band-aid over the nose look, which I truly really loved that style of makeup, not only on Intak but just in general. They sometimes dabble in eyeliner that helps bring emphasis to his eyes and eye shape. Once again, fun tattoo-like drawings under the eyes or on the cheeks. But they also tend to give him a lot of more natural makeup looks which fit him perfectly. When it comes to styling, particularly stage performance, he looks the best in more structured outfits like blazers and suits, leather, crop jackets, a lot of rectangular shapes, whether it's around the shoulders, stomach, or leg area. Angular shapes, fun patterns that could be colorful or muted darks. Also having more of a casual style like baggy, oversized looks that are laid back and relaxed, or street style. His essences thrive in darker colors, which more so complements his dramatic essence, cheeky side of his Gamine, and a bit of his natural essence as well. But at the same time, bright colors can definitely look good on him, but it's all about how you use them and balance them out with the darker colors. An outfit in particular that doesn't really complement him is this outfit from the Killin' It era. He has this giant white fur coat and white muscle shirt underneath with these very interesting pants. I think this style of pants do actually work within his essences, but pairing them with this very all over the place look of relaxed and extravagant does not really complement him. While the oversized look of the coat fits him, I think giving him a more structured black blazer with maybe some cutouts to go with the jeans, and giving him a black crop top or even a leather top underneath instead of a muscle shirt would have worked much better. I think this overall look, again, is kind of all over the place within style and fabrics, and it doesn't complement his essences at all. There are still a lot of outfits they give him that fit him perfectly so far from what I can remember. That outfit in particular is one that has always stood out to me and really bothered me. Mixing fabrics and styles can be very tricky for Intak. A lot of times it could fit him if you don't go too overboard, or if you match styles that are somewhat closer to each other. There does need to somewhat be a balance, whether it's in the style or even the use of fabrics and colors. So matching the style as closely as possible is best. When it comes to his more casual styling outside of stage performances and award shows, he typically stays within the more street style look, which is a very good fit for him, and not only complements his natural essence, but it also complements his Gamine essence, giving him a cheeky but very youthful vibe all at the same time. The natural essence itself, styling wise, usually has to do with a lot more laid back, athletic looks, which is something that he tends to correlate in his day-to-day styling. From time to time, you do see him incorporate his dramatic essence as well with the use of colors and sharp dynamics. Jiung has 4 essences, the first being Gamine. His face is very delicate and petite. It's slightly angular. He has a very strong, youthful, and cheeky vibe. Next, he has dramatic essence. His face is very angular with sharp and narrow features, giving him a striking appearance, especially in the brow and eyes area. Next, he has ingenue essence. He has a very cute and somewhat innocent look to him, with small and rounded features within his cheeks and nose. Lastly, he has ethereal essence. His face is very soft, with long, narrow features within his eyes and lips, giving him a fairy-like appearance. Jiung has a mix of generic and rare essences, with his most prominent essence being Gamine, being even in prominence in both the youthful and cheeky side. Slightly under is dramatic and ingenue, with both of them being even in prominence. Much lower is his ethereal essence, though still visible, is not as prominent as his other three essences. Despite a lot of his features being striking and bold, he still overall gives off a soft appearance. Jiung is another member that I really love to experiment with style-wise. His styling is usually very crazy and unique, and I absolutely love it. Similar to Seoul, they tend to give him a lot of experimental hairstyles, whether it's hair colors or updos. He looks the best with shorter hair in the back and longer bangs, and this tends to be the hairstyle that they keep him with, which is a very good idea. He looks great in both very messy, over-the-top hairstyles while also having more structured, neat hair looks that pull more focus on his face shape and facial features. And once again, thanks to his huge range in essences, he can really experiment with hair colors as well, whether it's natural hair colors like black, browns, blondes, or gingers, or more vibrant hair colors, or even bright pastels. There aren't too many hair colors or hairstyles that he hasn't been able to pull off or that haven't complimented him. Some of my personal favorites have been the curly ginger hair, the two-toned longer bangs, and the messy, short, choppy blonde look. He's also another member who they experiment a lot with whenever it comes to makeup. But once again, similar to a lot of his other members, they tend to keep the makeup within the under eye and eyelid area, which is absolutely a great decision for Jiung in particular, since his most notable feature are his eyes and brows. They are very sharp and full of expression, so highlighting this area as well as using blush on the nose or under the eye brings a lot of attention to how sharp his facial features in general are. They give him a lot of dramatic makeup looks, which of course goes hand in hand with his dramatic essence, but also his cheeky vibe of Gamine, while using a brighter blush helps emphasize his youthfulness in both his ingenue and Gamine as well, while all of those that I just said all complement his ethereal as well. He has a range in essences which overall helps his unique style, and also being able to pretty much put him in whatever they come up with. Having fun with mixing fabrics, mixing style dynamics, mixing styles in general, he's able to pull off so many different looks and mix matches of vibes and colors all at the same time. He can wear a range of different sizes, whether they're oversized or a bit on the tighter side like skinny jeans. Even having fun with mix matching seasonal wear as well. Simple outfits fit him as well, but again, adding in a little bit of fun elements like patterns, cutouts, fabrics, anything like that helps the outfit complement him even more. They put him in a lot of jackets like blazer looks, which honestly complement him hugely, especially his body type, but also complements his face shape as well. When it comes to his more casual outfits outside of stage performances and award shows, he tends to bring creativity and a fun use of colors, mixes of dynamics into these outfits as well. So Jiung actually has a good understanding of what looks good on him, going all out with accessories, hats, bright colors, hoodies, baggy jeans, skinny jeans, neckties, literally a range of so many varieties of looks. Theo has three essences, the first being romantic. He has large, rounded, lush features that can be seen within his nose, lips, eyes, and cheeks, overall giving him a soft, seductive vibe. His next essence is dramatic. He has sharp, narrow, angular, striking features within his brows and eyes. Lastly, he has Gamine. His jaw is slightly angular and his face is very delicate and petite. He has a somewhat youthful and cheeky vibe. Theo's most prominent essence is romantic, with his Gamine essence following a bit lower and his soft dramatic being much lower. Similar to Jiung, despite his features being sharp or angular in certain areas, he overall has a soft appearance. Theo is another member who can pull off many different types of hairstyles. He tends to fit more longer hair, but if he is going to have somewhat of a shorter haircut, keeping his bangs long is a very good idea. Due to his romantic, natural hair colors tend to fit him, and for his soft dramatic as well, black suits him the best. When it comes to being more colorful with his hair, keeping his hair with vibrant colors like bright reds instead of pastel colors is the best move. Vibrant hair colors tend to fit dramatic and romantic essences a lot more. While pastels or brighter hair colors do not look bad on him, vibrant or darker colors tend to help bring emphasis to his dramatic and romantic essence. This is mostly due to the fact that his gamine essence is lower than his romantic and soft dramatic, so that youthfulness of gamine that calls for brighter hair colors isn't as prominent. When it comes to his makeup, they usually keep him looking natural, which I think compliments him. From time to time, you'll see a little blush added or eyeshadow around the eyes that help bring emphasis to his eye shape and the allure of his eyes in general. I personally think that adding eyeshadow and eyeliner to his eyes, like even just a soft eyeshadow look, compliments him a lot more than keeping him completely natural. I think drawing attention to his eyes and his lips is a very good idea. They do a really good job at styling Theo. Due to his romantic essence, his styling is a bit different than all the other members. From time to time, they do give him some brighter colors to show more of that youthful side of gamine, despite it not being as prominent. Even adding in a color as simple as white still does enough to brighten up his essences because he does still have youthfulness, it just isn't as prominent. He's able to wear both baggy and tighter jeans with a mix of delicate materials. Due to his romantic essence, they have a lot of shirts that hug his body or give him jackets and blazers that give him a more dramatic dynamic. More abstract looks complement him, but even very simple looks that have little hints of variety of colors, and they also do a great job at dressing him according to his body type. Even though his outfits can call for some colors, they do tend to keep his colors to a minimum, which in my opinion is a very smart detail to pay attention to. Even though yes, colorful outfits can complement him, muted colors, again like grays, whites, black, are ones that really tend to make him stand out. Once again, the only essences that he has that really calls for color is the youthful side of his gamine and just slightly a bit of the romantic essence. While dramatic calls for more dark, rich colors, which they definitely tend to put in. They really do a great job at balancing out colors and materials and styles, and he also seems to know what looks good on him as well, because he brings in these same elements to his more casual clothing. The styles he usually goes for is street style, but also a nice formal look as well. From the outfits that I've seen, he explores only really a little bit with colors and styles, but he also tends to keep in mind to not be too casual or too simple. Keeho has 3 essences, the first being natural. His face has long lines with a blunt, square jaw. He has model-esque strong features with a strong brow, giving him an overall athletic look. Next is dramatic. He has sharp and narrow features that are angular and striking. This is mostly seen within his eyes and brow area. His last essence is romantic. He has large and lush features that can be seen within his nose and lips. He also has a seductive allure that can mostly be seen within his eyes. Keeho's most prominent essences are dramatic and romantic. They are both bold and even in prominence, while his natural essence is slightly lower. His features are very bold and striking, giving him a slightly different appearance than his other members. Everyone else has a much softer appearance, while his features are much more bolder, making him stand out a bit more than the others. When it comes to hairstyles, he typically looks the best in more vibrant or dark colors like black, grays, blues, or bright reds. In terms of natural colors, while browns and blondes don't necessarily look bad on him, black tend to make his features stand out a lot more. They usually keep him with the same haircut, short in the back with long bangs. But from time to time they do mix it up, giving him more choppier bangs rather than long curtain bangs. I think I personally prefer like the mid-length bangs that you can easily push back. Personally to me, his best hairstyle has been the silver hair color with the spiky bangs pushed back out of his face, showing more of his forehead. This hairstyle complements him the best to me, showing off more of his features but also shaping his face. It's a hairstyle with structure but still leans on the side of looking more casual than well put together. When it comes to makeup, they tend to keep him with a more natural look, giving him eyeliner and a little bit of eyeshadow from time to time, helping draw emphasis on his eye shape. They've also done some experimental makeup looks, especially in the Killing It era, which is by far some of my favorite looks on him. In general, I think that they could experiment a bit more, especially whenever it comes to eyeshadows and bringing more emphasis on his lips as well. His features are just very prominent, and I think there are a lot of different looks that they could do with him. They should explore more with more rich colors of eyeshadow, maybe more smoky eyes, but makeup looks being more laid back or natural on him also again suit him perfectly. But I do think because of his dramatic essence and his romantic essence, they could do a lot more with his makeup to emphasize his features. Keeho is another member which really at this point it's all the members that they do a great job at styling him. He looks great in structured outfits as well as adding in unique patterns and fabrics. He's able to pull off a fun mix of different styles and colors and outfits. Rich dark colors suit him as well as a few hints of brighter colors, thanks to his prominence in both his dramatic and romantic essences. When it comes to his stage outfits, they have a great balance of casual, formal looks like streetwear, jeans, blazers, crop jackets, dress slacks, also having a range of baggy clothes mixed with sharp dynamics as well as cropped and fitted clothing. One thing to keep in mind though when styling him is that he does have a certain body type that needs to be styled properly. He's more rectangular while also having smaller shoulders, so giving him blazers to widen up and square off the shoulders, making sure to focus on size dynamics in his outfits can also help with fitting his body type. Like many of the other members in his group, when it comes to his casual styling, he tends to wear more street style or more formal casual looks, which both are very fitting for him and complement his essences. I think more so just remembering to have more fun with colors, dynamics, and shapes and fabrics as well as styles. Just to add one more thing in, I think that putting Keeho in more looser, baggier pants or jeans rather than fitted jeans, pants, or slacks are a better fit for him. P1 Harmony as a group have a very unique look to them, not only concept and style wise, but also visually. All of the members individually stand out, with some having more of a conventionally attractive look and others having more of a rare, unique visual. And even though a lot of them are similar within their essences, they still all bring this own unique style and vibe to the group. And I don't know who's been styling them or who's even over their concepts, but they really do an amazing job at paying attention to small details about each member. In general, I haven't had too many complaints about their outfits or their styling when it comes to makeup or their hair as well, or even that their concept doesn't fit any of the members. Their stylist has this very if it ain't broke don't fix it type of mentality whenever it comes to styling them, which is why we tend to see them with the same hairstyles, haircuts, hair colors in general, and yet at the same time they're still very good at exploring within each member's styles and limits. It's a very good balance, and that's probably why a lot of the members' outfits, makeup styles, hairstyles, everything are so well thought out whenever it comes to the concept but also them individually. Not to mention that P1 Harmony's style and concept is already just very experimental, so that adds in an extra layer that makes it maybe a bit harder but also easier in some ways as well, because it allows them to explore a lot more and have a range of styles and looks that they could really dig into. P1 Harmony's concept is supposed to be that they are forgotten heroes, and how I take it, which can be a reach, is that a lot of superheroes have that unique power or unique look about them that makes them stand out, and that in itself is exactly what P Harmony looks like to me. Even if they have certain things that are similar, they still really stand out individually. I think that uniqueness is a huge superpower to have in this world. It makes you stand out, it makes you who you are, it makes you rare. Especially in a world that pushes us to conform to certain trends, rules, and ways of thinking. Not to mention that P1 Harmony is a K-pop group from South Korea, a country that tends to thrive and be much more comfortable with groupism. I would love to hear your opinions down below. Please remember to be respectful. Thank you so much for watching. I hope everyone has an amazing day. Bye bye!